Self-portraits is the Pfizer and the Moderna vaccines. Each of them is unique. They're not the same. They just came at the same time to do the same job. Each takes 2 shots, so they're brothers, partners, lovers maybe. Each fights alone in the same way. They give a defense against invaders. Each is an elegant warrior, like me, see? Each is mysterious. We just don't know that much about them, either one of them, yet. Each is desirable, but some don't want them inside, not yet. Each is wanted in many other places, and each will go, but not now, not yet. And oh yes, I've taken them in, or one of them. Oh yes, they're in me. Now I am them, one of them, either one, a little. The first image, Who Are You?, comes from a Rainier Marie Rilke poem. If the farthest angel came to you now, a step lower and a step closer, your fast-beating heart would slay you where you stand. Who are you? You can see that the first 2 of these 3 images use the same haunting mask. It's not the same no mask, but they're similar. You can see that the last 2 have the same background. It's a solar panel farm that I turned upside down. Then I gave myself 1 magazine for each to cut out little black cubes to scramble and disrupt the rectangular sameness of the solar cubes. And I did, each in a different way. And then came the long search for what characters fit beneath these hovering patterns. I like the Headless Coat's title, The Gray Man Has Trouble Seeing the World in Black and White. That's me. Self-portrait as a disaster and the tower. Both are black and white, both are cataclysms. Either could have been called Here Comes Trouble, because that's what they show. The self-portrait? Sometimes I just feel like that. Now in the tarot cards, there's one called the Tower. It's part of the Kabbalah, the Jewish mystical thoughts that are put into images, tarot cards. It shows the collapse of all the solid structures of your life. Sometimes life feels like that, and sometimes things look like that. Now, I don't know how to tell you how much fun it was to rediscover these images under my house. What a joy to see them. The elements just fit together to make a new little universe, pattern on pattern, texture on texture. It's just like they were always together, right? These are not profound thematic images, but rather just visually fun, delights. The titles are fun, too. The Portrait of a Woman I Remember I Never Knew, and The Sister of the Woman That I Remember I Never Knew. Well, they were made at the same time, and they're a pair. They are the same and they're not the same. Both are quirky, odd busts of women. Both are surreal. Both are shown in a field of black, except one. Both show the moon, except the other one. And both have a frilly dress. There are many ways that they're different, too. You can see that for yourself. Bubbling sensuosity, bursting sensuosity, and facial sensuosity. Is sensuosity a word? Well, let's go through them together. In bubbling and bursting, I used the same shot of a kneeling woman's dress. I cut out the woman, but you can see the dress is there with her pattern. One is in front of the bubbles, and the other one is on top of the red burst, right? And both have little flowers to add a frill, a climax to the composition. Now let's look at burst and facial. They both start with a red burst splash, right? With the facial, I used the least amount of details possible, the model's lips, gown, and jewelry, to fit into the splash to make something new. The Portrait of a Crone and the Crone Queen Reading. Both play with a similar texture of the black and white patterns. The portrait uses the bright, high-tech pattern against an organic dry sunflower. I think of that as old age. Now in the Queen, I played with the different patterns and textures of the cloth and the jewelry, and then inserted the hands of someone holding a book. It was a queen. See it? And the Queen's lace dress and the brocade serpent moved over to finish the crone's portrait. Interesting. Visiting the now and then, and behind the now and then. Now, reclining nudes are a favorite theme in art history, mostly painted by men, and I suspect they are acceptable early erotica. But these images, famous as they are, surprise me. In both of them, women face away. One doesn't have a face at all, and the other one, the head is disappearing into the stars, like a poem to the intangible, to the vastness of space, a glimpse behind the veils. There are curtains in both. They both took a bit of time to create, and they kicked off a whole series of images yet to come called Revealing the Universe, or Naked Constellations, or Forms in Space, or Galactic Poses. There's a variety of stars in both these too, if you look. Now in the visit, do you see that the legs of the behind are below? And in the behind, do you see that there's no behind to see? Stress and a portrait of fury. Well, in the portrait, you can see that the birds flying behind create a pattern, a flurry, a flutter. Teeth are tearing, fabrics are flopping, or flesh. Is it flesh? Fury. But stress is the source of the fury. You can see it flow from one image to the other. Oh, my friends, there are so many alikes to like in the Like-alike Collage show. It's showing through November in the vault room of the Downtown Art Center. It's in Chinatown, on the second floor across from Hank's. And if you want to have a show and tell session with me, mask to mask, face to face, I'd love it. I love to talk collage. So make an appointment. Look at the email that I post here. I hope you've enjoyed the video. There are so many more images to share with you. Like-alike Collage show.